Since I got home from work this afternoon, I've been working on this lace overlay again, and I've got all the pieces together. I just haven't joined the centre back seam yet. I want to check it's looking good before then. Still no petticoat, so still haven't evened out that colour underneath it. If the petticoat doesn't arrive, I'll make another layer to go under there out of the thicker white fabric so that we lose that line there. This is looking super cool though. I'm really happy with how this is looking, and it'll look even better once it's actually got a body and boobs inside of it. So you can see in the mirror how it's looking all together. You see how sparkly it is too. I love that this is starting to just look like a solid piece of lace that's shaped to the dress. The seams, now it's together, are really hard to pick out in most places. So I'm really happy with how this has come together. So now I'm working on this top part and how I can get all these pieces out of the lace that I've got left over. So I've been working on the sleeve pattern first. I've had to sort of take it in a little bit. It was really full. And I've been playing with how to make this cape sleeve work. Originally, I just opened the seam underneath, but it wasn't sitting quite right. So I've done some Googling, and from pictures that I've seen, it looks like the seams open at the front, sort of halfway up the front of the armhole. So I joined my pattern and then cut it down the front, and that's what I'm left with. You can see where I folded these end bits in because it was just too full. And now I'm sort of working out exactly how I can fit that onto the lace that I've got left over. So I've sort of worked out one, and the second one now I've just got to make sure I've got enough left to get good patterns on the bodice part at the top of the dress. So this, because I only had 5 yards of this lace, it's turned into a real jigsaw puzzle to get it together right. This morning I'm all set up ready to dye the tulle overskirt and the veil. I've got my pot set up ready to put dye in. I've got gloves because I forgot to wear gloves when I did the sample and I ended up with pink hands. I've got my ring light set up. You can see the little circles in my eyes. I've got my camera set up, and I'm gonna ombre pink dye this overskirt and veil. And I think I'm going to add a range of ombre dyed veils to the website as well, maybe in sort of 3 or 4 colours. So if that's something that interests you, let me know what colours you'd like to see. I'm thinking maybe pink, a sort of lavender, a pale blue, all pastel-y colours I think would be really beautiful. So I'll have to have an experiment, see what I can come up with for those. But it'll be good to see how this pink one turns out today. And I think that's a great way for people who are a bit maybe not quite confident enough to go for a full coloured dress but want to add some colour into a wedding, to do it in the veil. It's something you can take off easily. So looking forward to doing this. And I love dyeing, you know I love dyeing. So I'm going to finish getting set up, and I think I'll do a time lapse of dyeing it so you can sort of see the whole process. That's my time lapse hands apparently. So time lapse. So the dye's done. I've got it on the washing line drying. The weather is looking pretty shocking today, so I'm hoping it'll dry before the rain kicks in. Yeah, it's looking really pretty. I'm just hoping it's not going to dry too pale. I hope it keeps that nice pinkness to it. I've left everything set up in the kitchen, so if it is too pale I can just pop it back in again. So despite the rain that's coming, it is pretty warm out here. And tulle dries pretty quickly, so hopefully it won't take long and we can decide if it needs to go back in the dye or not. I'm working on the top part of the bodice at the minute. I'm using the same thread tracing technique as I used on the main part of the dress for the overlay. So you can see I've traced the outline of the pattern piece minus the seam allowance with the thread. I've already joined the side seams here. To get the pattern to lay nicely along the neckline here, it ended up like that on the shoulder. So what I've done is I've cut lots of extra on this shoulder seam. So you can see when I line up the seams where I've got the threads, that overlays like that onto the front, and then once it's sewn and cut away, it looks like this, and that seam is almost undetectable, so it looks like just one solid piece of lace over the shoulder. So for the top of the centre back, which is here, so that's where a zip comes up and that's up to the shoulder seam, I had to cut it. I couldn't line it up on a nice bit of pattern. So what I've done there is I've cut just a little piece of the sequin lace out. So once the shoulders are sewn, I'm hand stitching this along here, and then I'll cut away the excess. Once it's sewn on, it looks like this. So you can see I've cut away the excess here. I've just left the seam allowance there, and then that will be the top of the centre back once the zip's in. So by adding this piece along there and getting the shape I want, cutting away this excess, it's given us a really neat line at the top of the centre back. I've also got my sleeves cut out, so the next job is to join that other shoulder, sew that piece on, and then I'm going to probably hand stitch the sleeves into place. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of kind of where I'm up to and the colours, and it's starting to come together and look really cool, but I've still got so much to do. The pink on the tulle has come out. It matches the flower crown perfectly. I'm so happy with that colour. And then the long veil with the pink on too. So I've been working on the sleeves and this top part. So I've got the sleeve pinned in, and we've changed it to this cape sleeve, which is looking really good. I'm just wondering if there's quite enough ease at the top, so I think we might have to do one more fitting just to get this sleeve absolutely right and get the fit absolutely right, but it's getting there. So there's still a lot to do. Petticoat still hasn't arrived, so I think I'm going to have to sew another layer in the skirt. But yeah, I can start to get an idea of how it's all going to look together when it finally comes together. I'm in the city this morning and I'm about to go and have my lip fillers redone. It's been about 1.5 years since I last had them done. So it's really noisy here, they're pumping sewers or something. But it's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. Yeah, so lip fillers, maybe a bit of Botox if they think I need it, and then home to carry on sewing. I was just walking to my appointment and I've just found the posters from our brand Canberra shoot that we did a few months ago. Cool, so I'm back home after having my Botox and fillers done. So I just had a little top up of Botox done around my forehead. Not a lot at all, it didn't need a lot at all. I've had lip fillers done, which was actually less than 1 mil. So I don't get a lot in my lips. It literally just puts back what age is taking away from me. I've got a bit of a bruise this time. They're still pretty swollen at the minute. I'm having the fillers done, but they'll go down soon. And then I also got some fillers around my jawline as well. So the bits that really sort of bug me on my face are the little jowly bits here. So what he's done is put filler in a little bit in my chin and a little bit there. And that tiny bit of volume just helps pull that sideways and gets rid of that little sort of jowly look that I was starting to get going on around here. So I've got 1 mil, I had 2 mils of filler all up, which is tiny. If you sort of look up how much 1 mil of filler is on a teaspoon, I've got 2 mils between my lips and my whole jawline and chin. So it's not a lot, but it makes a massive difference. And I'm really, really happy with how that's looking. Once it evens out, it's a bit lumpy, there's a bit of a lump there, but that'll go down as the filler sort of settles in. And once the swelling goes down on my lips a little bit as well, I'm super happy with how that looks. Really, really like it. So, as I always say when I talk about Botox and fillers, no judgment. This is something I choose to do because it makes me feel happy and confident, and I love how it looks. No judgment either way if you want to get it done, if you don't want to get it done, and don't judge people who do decide to get it done. I know I don't need it. I also don't need to dye my hair or get tattoos, but I choose to. Morning, it's early on Saturday morning. I sewed till about 10 o'clock last night. I'll show you where I'm up to with the dress in a moment. I've got a client due any minute, and then Sarah's in for her fitting. Look at my bruise today. It's got really big. Am I lucky I'm not really going anywhere? Okay, so this is where I'm up to with the dress. So yesterday I hemmed it. I took in those hip bits that needed taking in. I've stitched the lace layer onto the dress at the top, and I've just pinned this part on so we can try that on Sarah, make sure it's sitting right, and I want to make sure the sleeves are right before she tries it on again, as I said the other day. I've bought some white fabric which I've got pinned underneath it, and from what I can tell on the mannequin, it's doing quite a lot to hide that line at the bottom of the corset. So I think what I'm going to do is add 2 more layers and maybe another layer of satin as well, and hopefully that should then completely disguise this part, but we'll be able to tell more when Sarah's got it on. The veil and the overskirt are finished. Can't wait to see it actually on Sarah, and then we can see what last bits need doing, and we're almost there. Sarah's just been and had her final fitting with the dress, and I'm about to get everything finished, and we're on the home stretch. Just looked at the weather forecast. The weather is not looking great for tomorrow, so we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that there's a small window of sun that we can get out and shoot the finished dress in. Okay, so the first bit I'm going to be working on is joining the top part of the dress onto the top of the bodice of the dress. So when I cut it out, I've done my thread tracing so I know where the top goes. And then I cut quite a lot of extra because I wasn't sure how I wanted the pattern to sit. So the first thing I'm going to do is start cutting off this excess, like these 2 triangles there can go. And then hopefully you can see, so that's how it was with these bits. And on this side, I've trimmed it and pinned it on. So by the time that's sewn on, it should look like one continuous piece. So I'm going to do that all the way around and then hand stitch this part on into place. There is a huge storm coming. It's absolutely chucking it down. There was a massive rumble of thunder just now as well. Oh, I've got sequins on my eyelid. Oh, yes, I'm still going on the dress. I don't know if you can see how heavy that rain is. Hopefully the chickens haven't died of fright from the thunder. I've got the sleeves sewn in. I've hand stitched the top of the back here. I've got the zip sewn in as well, which went in first time, which was great because often on sequins it doesn't. And I've got the centre back seam pinned. So I'm out for the evening now. So first thing in the morning, I'm going to get up early. I need to hand stitch inside of the zip, put a hook and eye at the top of the back and stitch this seam up, and make the petticoat, and then I'm done. So early start, and then we just got to pray that the weather gives us a break tomorrow and is good enough to go and shoot the end of it. Everything is finished and I'm about to get packed and ready to go and meet Sarah to shoot the end of this video. it's a wrap. We're done shooting. We're done shooting. The light was just perfect. We got so lucky with the weather. After yesterday's forecast saying it was going to be thunderstorms and rain, it's just been perfect blue skies all day, and it's just beautiful here at the minute, and it's really quiet as well. Didn't have to dodge too many people. So I'm going to go home and get editing, and I'll see you in next week's vlog. The video will be up before this is up, so follow the link up there.